All right, let's get into it, Rob. Big story today. Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, had stopped playing the national anthem this year. No preseason games. I guess they had 13 games in Dallas this year, preseason and regular season, and they didn't play the national anthem for any of them. And Mark Cuban said that he hadn't made a decision. It was just, he decided not to play because he was hearing, and I've been in touch with Mark a little bit today. He was hearing from,
you guys are on speaking terms again? You guys had a big fight.
We've always still kept in touch, even as we've gone at each other, and, we've still kept in touch. So it's all good. But he, was hearing from, he mentioned a lot of people in the community who don't really have a voice, were feeling negatively about the national anthem. And then there were also those on the other side too, as you can imagine, who were like, why aren't you playing the national anthem? And you should be playing it and you're not patriotic and so on and so forth. So they weren't playing it. And he said he hadn't made a final decision, but maybe he would have done that all year. But the NBA has stepped in and said, you must play the national anthem. And so they are going to do it. And they play tonight. I believe they're playing the Hawks. And so, but whoever they play, they're going to play the national anthem tonight. And so, so there you have it, Rob. And you had written, a year ago or something like that?
Like at the start of the pandemic. Don't you remember the column for Deadspin about the NFL saying that we talked about, I think, Chris, too, on the show about not having the national anthem. Matter of fact, I think I did it, too, on Undisputed with Skip and Shannon. But I had written that we should drop it. The NFL should just drop it instead of having this thing. And my only thing is, this is not about being patriotic. I mean, I know people want to use it. Nobody else, okay? When we come in to do our radio show, we don't do the national anthem. When you go work at Target or, Vons or whatever job you're doing, the post office, nobody other than military people, Chris, do that. And I get the military, but I don't think that it's really necessary. And from the research that I did, I think it was the World War I, it started as to boost morale. They did it at baseball games. It wasn't always at the seventh inning stretch, Chris, and for the last 150 years. It doesn't go back that far. So I don't have a problem with it. I don't know why people get bent out of shape. So much has changed. So many things have changed. It doesn't mean you're a bad person if you don't want to stand up for the national anthem. If I had my choice, I wouldn't do it. And I guess I do have a choice, but it's not necessary. That doesn't mean you're patriotic or not. And I know people try to tie it to it and, this country's going to hell in a handbasket. And I remember in school, Chris, you remember this too, when we used to stand up before the school day started and did the Pledge of Allegiance.
Right.
You remember that?
Right. Yep.
We don't do that anymore. We used to do it every day.
Absolutely.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with
liberty and justice for all. Yep.
Right? Liberty, justice,
and justice for all.
Yeah,
yep.
Remember? I mean, I still remember that from grade school.
I remember doing that.
And then we stopped it. That does that mean all the kids, Chris, who have not done it while they're in school, they're bad people? No.
I'm with you. It obviously is unnecessary. I mean, they weren't doing it at all this season in Dallas, and nobody really thought anything about it. I get some of, like you said, I guess it started when we were at war. Is that World War II?
That makes sense.
And obviously you get that. And I even get, look, you're right. I mean, we don't play at any other time before we go to work, before we go to a movie or whatever. So it clearly is unnecessary for that. But I get if, before we crack heads on the football field, before we go at each other's throat on the basketball court, in the boxing ring, we're going to play this national anthem and just as a symbol or sign of our solidarity as Americans. I mean, I guess, that's fine. But the bottom line is it's unnecessary. And at this point in time, because the country is so polarized, it is an unnecessary thing that is highlighting our division. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
every time they play it and people stand or don't stand, it's just another reminder of how divided we are and the issues we have going on. And so, yeah, I don't know that you need it right now. Let me say this about Kaepernick, though, because obviously he started this. The national anthem, and people need to be reminded of this. Kaepernick and anybody else who knelt during the anthem, they were not doing it and going against the military. In fact, we all know that he sought out Nate Boyer, who had been in the military.
Who was a Navy SEAL who told him not to,
what
right?
was right. How can I do it in a way that will honor the military and yet bring attention to the situation I'm trying to do it to? And Boyer told him kneel, because kneeling has always been a sign of respect, and reverence. And so
don't you kneel before the king and queen, right? Don't you kneel in front of them?
I know you kneel when you pray a lot of times, so I don't know about the king and queen, but maybe.
Yeah, you know what? That's the big problem in the United States. We only recognize one king. It ain't LeBron James, it's Burger King, so I don't think we kneel when we go to Burger King. Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. But anyway, what's more important than the flag or the anthem are the people, the American citizens that the flag and the anthem represent. And Colin Kaepernick, to me, was being more patriotic than most of us, because when he knelt for the anthem, he was actually doing it on behalf and trying to be a voice for American citizens who are represented by that flag and that song. That's what he was doing. He wasn't doing it for himself. He was doing it for American citizens who the flag and the anthem represent. People, human beings who are more important than a song. I don't care what the song is. And so I just got to say that we need to look at it properly. But I don't really care, Rob, if they don't play it. If they do, it doesn't really matter to me. Like you said, it's not a litmus test for your patriotism.
No.
Your litmus test for your patriotism. Do you follow the laws of the country? You live try to be a productive citizen in this country and help other people. And you don't go against the country in, major issues and try to take it down and stuff like that. So that's really what patriotism is all about.
And it also, Chris, black people get black people aren't patriotic. You hear that sometimes.
Please.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? Can you imagine going to a war and fighting for a country and you're segregated in the army, Chris, and you're getting the leftover food? Seriously.
And when you come back, you get treated like a second-class citizen.
Exactly.
I mean, our patriotism can never be questioned.
Questioned at all, whether we wave a flag in front of our house or not. When we make up 13% of the population, and, minorities make up 40-some-odd%. Minorities, I mean,
Blacks
Latin.
About 30%, roughly.
It's a high number for what we represent. So I never want to hear that. It doesn't mean that, and just because you don't want to. But I'll be interested to hear. To me, I think the NBA had a chance to let Mark Cuban do his thing or to make a decision there and just say, really, you know what? We're going to lead the way here. And they didn't do it for whatever reason.
And Rob, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know this. I'm not reporting it. But I wouldn't be surprised if in the off season or a year or two from now, whatever, that the NBA does do away with the rule, maybe sooner than that. Remember, they had a rule, too, that you had to stand for the national.
That was after Chris Jackson, Rauf.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
Remember that?
Yeah, and they had always had the rule you have to stand. And then, of course, when the players, when they were in the bubble and obviously they were kneeling, Adam Silver, the commissioner, did away with it. He said, don't worry about it. I wouldn't be surprised if this occurs and they stop playing the anthem. We'll see. We're asking you, did the NBA get it right or get it wrong when they declared that, look, you got to play the national anthem before games? Dallas, Atlanta, New York, LA, wherever you at, play the national anthem. Or you think they should have just used this as an opportunity to stop that tradition and we move on? Your turn to weigh in.
All right, let's kick it off with Kevin in Cincinnati. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Kev?
Hey, what's going on, Chris and Rob?
What's
I think
up?
the NBA, I don't think they can win now. Either which way they go, they're going to alienate one side or the other. So, I don't think that there's a way that they can get out of this. It's about dollars and cents and ratings and all that, and I just think that, it's a big mess now.
But Kev, haven't things changed, though? We've seen a lot of things change. They're taking down statues and changing the names of military bases.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, either way they go now, they're going to alienate one side. So it's
going to be interesting.
Yes.
Because look, I don't doubt that this decision was made because of finances. It probably was. You know what I'm saying?
But Chris, we saw Kevin's calling from Cincinnati. They took Marge Schott's name, the old owner, the racist owner. You remember her? They took her name off the University of Cincinnati baseball stadium. Right. And
but everything hasn't changed.
She gave $2 million, and you know what they said? They'll give the money back, Chris. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? No,
it's interesting. Got it. We'll see. He makes a good point. We'll see.
No, there's no doubt. Good call, Kevin. Albert in Honolulu. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Albert?
What's up?
Well, as a Marine Corps veteran, I think the NBA just screwed the pooch on that one. I think they had a perfect way to get out of the whole playing the national anthem before work. So, I mean, I don't see why the NBA or all these sport leagues in general do it anyway, right? It's work. We'll let them do what they have to do. Right. It has nothing to do with being American. I mean,
right. And Albert, you could see it in the military, right? Don't you start your day? Are you still in the military?
I am.
You start your day, right? Don't you start your day? Yep. I get that if you're in the military. I do.
Exactly. But everybody else is in the military. The NBA, the NFL has nothing to do with the military. It has nothing to do with the flag. It's work. Just like people at Target, people at Walmart, they don't have to stand for the national anthem when they go to work before they start work. So I don't see why, they keep trying to force this down everybody's throat. If, and people keep trying to claim like there's two sides to, if you're un-American, you're American.
Right.
If you're really that American, go join the military. That's how you show somebody to be American.
There you go.
Right.
You're right, Albert. Because most of those people aren't interested in doing that, but they'll be the biggest flag wavers. My father and brother were in the military. I know I'm not a military person, Chris, but I respect the hell out of them. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. My father and both my grandfathers were in World War II, and my father was in Vietnam.
Yep. You know what I'm saying? Because most people can't do it. I get it. I get it. Mark in Sacramento, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Mark?
Hey, real quick on this one. The gentleman before me,
yes, Albert.
He said it perfectly, man. That's a mic drop. I agree with him 100% what he just said. He expressed it perfectly. His way he pointed it out, he broke it down. Well done. I agree with that. I want to just add a little bit to that, though. Real quickly, the song itself, if anybody knows the history of it, it had racial lyrics in it that had to be removed.
Francis Scott Key was a slave owner.
Right.
Exactly.
And
so I mean,
anti-abolitionist.
Exactly. And so the worship of the song itself, if anybody knows about it, they may not really understand too about who we're having doing this. It's mostly basketball and football players, which are predominantly black, which we say maybe that song doesn't mean as much justice to some other people. And if you don't think it does, I'm watching an impeachment trial and I'm seeing white racists beat people with a flag. What's going on here?
Right. Oh, yeah.
We're beating people with a flag.
And here's the other thing. Where's the Blue Lives Matter? You remember that whole
that
slogan?
too.
Where was that? That went out the window when they decided to go rogue and attack the Congress and Senate.
One more quick point, guys. From George Floyd to this impeachment day, one thing's for damn sure when it comes to what Kaepernick was trying to say, he was right.
Oh, he was definitely right.
No doubt.
He was definitely he like I said, people need to look regardless of your race. He was standing up for American citizens, or no pun intended, for American citizens. That's what he was doing, and he drew attention to their plight. So, All right, good call, Mark. And just Rob, to add to what he said, there's a verse, I think it's a third verse that we don't sing of the national anthem that references slaves, the slaves that fought for the British in the Revolutionary War. Because if they, British won, they were promising them freedom. And the song references them, in a negative way. So, and the hirelings. So that's all the history of the song. I'm sure most people don't know, white, black, otherwise. You don't know because, you just sing the song out of tradition. But that is a part of it.